Thank you for joining us for another episode of Help, Nobody Told Me. I am Jasmine Shapiro, and this is my partner Shannon Johnson, and we're with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Chicago.
And today we have Danielle Knighton joining us.
Hi, everyone.
She is the director of
Group
exercises at the Lake Forest Rec Center. So
And
we are
also a realtor.
She's a realtor in our office as well.
So a friend of ours as well.
Yes.
And we're here today to talk about not just group exercises, but the community that is involved with that. And I think that's a really interesting topic. What really inspired you, Danielle, to become a group fitness instructor?
Well, first of all, thank you guys so much for having me on. This is definitely something that is very near and dear to my heart. So what inspired me was fitness, first and foremost, right? Getting in shape and staying in shape, especially through our mom years and things like that. So that's what kind of inspired me. I started in the city and just going to classes. I never wanted to be at the gym by myself, so I started going to classes. And I really enjoyed the music, the camaraderie, people of all different demographics, shapes, sizes, from all different places. Showed up to class to be with this instructor for an hour, giving up their valuable time, and it was just really, really inspiring to me. So when I moved up to the suburbs, I quit working full time, had my kids, and I was like, what am I going to do? I was going to the gym every day anyway, so it was something I thought, I think I can get into this. I think I can be a leader of this group. So
were you just doing group fitness when you came up to the North Shore, or were you also like doing personal training, weights?
Nope, I never did personal training, always did group.
And
always
why is
group.
that?
I just like being in front of people.
Okay, and so now you are a group fitness instructor, and you were telling us at the office that there's a lot of ladies that are maybe a little more senior.
Yes.
That come to your class.
Yes, we have all different ages. We have 30-year-olds all the way up to 90-year-old ladies. I mean, we
90-year-old ladies.
Yes. Oh my gosh, and they are some of the strongest ones you will see.
Wow.
And consistent, and they're awesome. We just have a big variety of women, and they just come together, and it's just amazing to see.
Well, when you talk about community, I'm a member at Highland Park Rec Center, and when I go to fitness classes, I take an aquafit class because I have problems with my knees, and it's so easy for me to do things and I don't have to worry about the impact on my knees. But there are a lot of older women in that class, and they get there early and they chat, and I'll hear them talking and they'll say, oh, Susie, da 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 da, and they just have all their little conversations. They talk about their kids, and it is part of their social life, and you can tell that these women really, it becomes part of their routine, and it's important to them to be there, to see each other. It really impacts their life.
Absolutely. And it really is, you show up to this class, you see the women of your community, right? Because in Lake Forest, we all pretty much live in Lake Forest, and you get to chat about the book sale or the new restaurant that's opening. And then not only that, you get to chat about so-and-so just had a new grandbaby. And then some of the women in my class, their kids just started kindergarten. So you have your older sector of women who get to relive their early mom years through us, and we get to look at them and like, oh my gosh, they did it, they made it, right? They raised their kids are awesome, and there's hope, right? There's a light at the end of the tunnel. Right. So you get the whole sphere of life in one room. Right. And that is so inspiring and so important. And just the wealth of knowledge that we get from each other, our older members they come to me and will ask, like, how do you set your Apple Watch? Or how, what timing do you have, or things like that. And this is wrong on my phone. Can you look at this really quick? And then with us, we're like, well, share this recipe with us, so it's really, really beautiful to see and to lead. So
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, in your experience, how does being part of a fitness group class, how does it motivate people?
well, it's motivating because you have no choice, right? But to move. You're in a room with a bunch of other people who are moving. You have music going, you have an instructor who has really tailored a workout to that hour where I always say I'm the blueprint, right? Like I have the map of what I think the workout should be, but you know your body, you're going to do what your body can do. Maybe you can't do 10, burpees, but the girl next to you can. But maybe you'll try 2. Because that's the motivation, right? If even me as a fitness professional, if I had to go to a gym by myself, I would probably walk out. I would not stick around, right? But put me in a class and I'm there the whole 60 minutes.
Right.
And it's just the whole vibe, the music, the instructor, the people. It's just so amazing to be together. You have no choice but to be motivated.
Well, I would think too, like if you know that there are other friends of yours in this class that are counting on seeing you, and maybe they go and get coffee afterwards or whatever, it's also going to motivate you to get
There's some
there.
accountability, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And that is the number one thing. It is the accountability, because I told Marion I would see her tomorrow, right? Or, I told Lydia we're going to go for a walk on the track after class. Totally. Or so much so, sometimes we'll have women say, oh, I love that song. Can you play that song next class for me? And so then you wake up and you're like, oh, I told her to play that song for me. I have to go, know?
Right.
So, and then in our group, we are very tight-knit, and I have a whole text chain of all of my ladies. And of course, group fitness has men as well, but personally ours is mostly all women. And so it's those texts we get like, oh, going out of town for 2 weeks. Don't worry about me, or things like that. And I always have this running joke, and I actually said it this morning, where if I don't see someone for a couple days or a week or so, I'm like, oh, I got to text that person. No sooner do I think that, they show up. And today I had a very, very dear member, and she showed up after not being around a while, and I said, oh my gosh, Sandy, I was just going to text you. And she said, I was at a wedding, and I was here and I was there. I was like, that's amazing. Positive reasons why you weren't here, but you were on my mind.
Yeah.
And, it's just, it's always nice to be included. So why not be included and have movement in your life, and then have a group of supportive people around you?
Absolutely. And you said something that I think is so important, because you said, oh, maybe Susie, this person can do 10 burpees, but you can only do 2. That's okay, do the 2. Because, I love to dance, but I can't dance like I could 2 years ago before my knee injury. So I was hesitant to go to a Zumba class, because I remember it's a lot of rotations and things like that. So I finally got myself up to go, and I did. I had to modify a lot of things, and I'm looking at the people around me twisting and turning, and I would move, and I'd be like, yeah, no, I'm going to modify that. I'm just going to step. I'm not going to twist.
Totally, but you were there, and
you showed up.
You showed up.
I showed up,
and that's more than half the battle is showing up.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
And I would think too, if let's say somebody lost a spouse and they're lonely, this would be a great opportunity. You have a sense of community. You're alone a lot maybe, and all of a sudden you show up there, and it may not be that you're best friends with people, but these are the other group fitness participants that come every week or every time, for this particular class.
Yeah.
So they're happy to see you. It
Totally.
motivates you, I would think, to show up.
Totally. And again, it is that, you do end up forming a friendship and a real camaraderie with these people. And it is rooted in fitness, but there's just so much more than that. I have an instructor that comes in every holiday. She has cookies and all different treats that she makes. And
so it's undoing everything you've done and worked out.
I know, I shouldn't have said that. But, just to show that it is just so much more.
Can you at least bring some protein bars or something?
She does that too. But, we have women who are phenomenal gardeners. And so when they have tomatoes and cucumbers, I have a very dear member, her and her husband are beekeepers. And so we get jars of,
Honey.
homegrown honey, and it is unlike anything you will ever have, and it's just, there's just so much kindness and so much good that comes out of this 1 hour and out of this spectacular group of, in my case, women.
Right.
So.
Well, and I see some of the ladies will actually go from a strength class across the hall to a cardio class. And I'm like, okay, you are, and they'll be in they'll be in their 70s, and I'm watching and I'm like, yeah, I'm done. I just finished one class and I'm going home.
Yes, and that is fairly common, and that's why schedules are designed that way, so you can bop between classes, and that is common in
there's a plan.
Yeah. That is very common in our facility as well.
So how do you see group fitness contributing to participants' mental and emotional well-being? Like just beyond fitness, do you think it's this sense of
It's the sense of community, it's the sense of belonging, it's the sense of having somewhere to be at a certain time. I know personally my last year has been very difficult, a lot of life transition, but I knew and I know every morning I have to wake up and I have to show up for this group of people. I have to put everything else aside and I have to essentially perform. And as a participant, obviously you're not performing, but you do have to put your grocery list aside. You do have to put your priority list aside, because for those 60 minutes, you are the priority. Your health, your mental clarity is the priority. And that just, there's nothing else like it, right?
Well, also just being there and being physical, you get the endorphins going and all that kind of stuff. And believe it or not, people, once you get going, it does make you feel better. It gives you more energy. It does all those things that people talk about that nobody believes till they do it.
It's true.
But it works.
It
actually works.
Absolutely. And there's we laugh and joke about it. Our fitness center is quiet most of the day until the group exercise program is going, which we are a morning-based program, and then you hear the shrieking and the, oh my God, I haven't seen you, and the hugs and the kisses, and it's just so fun that you cannot help but be present, love it, you love each other. It's just so great. Nobody's ever walking and being like, oh, she has the new this, or everybody's just like, oh my gosh, she looks so cute. My big thing with my participants, I'm always on them about their shoes, because a lot of my women have knee injury, hip, and I always tell them it starts from the bottom up. So if you're hopping around and doing these kickboxing moves in shoes that are run down, of course your legs are going to hurt, your joints are going to hurt. So I'm always running around and picking out, oh, you got new shoes and you got new shoes, and they think it's the funniest thing, but I do have a purpose for it, right? And it's just for them to know, oh, one, the instructor notices, two, it is a health-based, and it keeps everything going, mind, body, spirit, and it is just really, really great.
So what are some challenges that you've faced in creating and maintaining that community, and how have you overcome them?
Well, the number one obvious challenge in fitness was the pandemic, right? We couldn't be together. So we went onto virtual platforms. I had to teach women how to Zoom over the phone, right? How to do all of that stuff. I had to learn how to Zoom. That was the biggest challenge. Teaching to a screen in an empty studio was probably the worst part of my fitness career. It was just so lonely, and it was very isolating, and I think a lot of instructors might have wanted to quit at that time. But the second that we were able to be together, it was no question asked. I mean, when I was told that I could bring my group back together and we had to teach and do workouts outside, they were all there. If I would have said, hey, let's meet for a walk, they were all there. I mean, it was just, yes, it was a challenge, but it really did bring us all together even more, because we all had to kind of overcome this we were all just trying to move and have that human connection that we crave. And so that is the number one challenge, or that was.
And it certainly identified the value
in
what it brought to their lives.
It really did. It really did. And, you know, people say like, oh, you know, AI and I could work out at home. Like, you can, of course, but are you going to push yourself for those extra, you know, 5 minutes? Or are you really going to get down lower? Or, you know, there's just something to be said about having other people around and other people there. And so with that, with the pandemic, I say I rebuilt my program 3 different times in my career, because we had to first shut down completely, and then I privately created like a Facebook page where I would do workouts in my living room and just put them out there for the girls to just keep moving. And then we went onto a computer Zoom platform when they would allow me back into the fitness center. We went outside, then we came inside into a big gym, and then
wearing masks and trying to work out.
And
oh, that's horrible.
It was horrible, and then the acoustics is not great, and so from there, then we were able to go back into the studio, and you know, that first time, just to see.
Did you burn the masks?
Oh my God! Just to see everyone's smiles, and then still, of course, I remember for a little bit we had a transition where I still had video option and live option, and then finally it was just like we're all in, and it was amazing.
So these relationships, I mean, it sounds like it's really a lot of relationships are made that give this sense of community.
Yes.
And I think it probably motivates you, because I know we've seen you in the office and you taught classes in the morning, and then you're like, and now I have to teach another one at 4 o'clock. And I'm like, how are you doing it? But you probably don't want to let them down, right?
I don't want to, you know, they always.
But not only that, you teach and then you go and take classes yourself.
I do take classes myself, yeah, because you have to fill your own cup, right? And that fills my cup. I get inspired, and I take classes from my own instructors at my facility, because I feel that I have some of the best instructors. I work with some of the best instructors in Lake Forest, and they are so motivating. They're so creative with the formats that they come up with and how they transition their workouts, and so I learn so much from them, and they really do make me want to be a better instructor, just like working with amazing realtors makes me want to be a better realtor, right? So you're only as good as the team and the people around you. So so that fills my cup, knowing that I have people that I can take their classes, and it is definitely my outlet. I love it. So yeah, it is a wonderful, wonderful thing.
Well, you inspire us. Sure.
Thank you.
What's your favorite class to teach?
Oh, there's so many. I like a straight total body conditioning. I mix everything in there. It's a cardio based. All of my personal cardio is kickboxing based. I like kickboxing combinations. They're just easy for me. I like everything to be on the beat, on a 32 count, which is interesting because I have no musicality at all. I'm not a dancer. I'm not musically inclined. So much so when I started teaching, for the first 6 months, I think I cried after every class because I was so bad at it. I was so bad at it. And now I have to be on the beat at all times. And so yeah, it's a straight total body conditioning. It's a little bit of cardio, a lot of strength. If you take my class, there's a lot of squats and a lot of lunges. And
get that booty in shape, girls.
yes. So that's definitely my favorite.
All right.
So how do you see the role of community evolving in the fitness world, especially with the rise of virtual fitness platforms?
Well, I think that computers have definitely tried to take us down, right?
Even Peloton, right?
Exactly, and that's my number one example. I was guilty of it. I bought a Peloton.
Me too, during the pandemic.
Yep, I bought a Peloton, and I loved it. It's great.
Me too.
But now you can't give them away, right? Because everybody wants to be back in that community.
Right.
In that community. They want to be in that room. They want to feel that music. They want to feel that beat. Even Peloton itself, you look at now their classes are back live, so you see that they have people in the studio. I can't even imagine what that is like, being in a room.
I think the cycling
like
classes are packed again, right?
Everything's packed again, yeah. And it's just, I think that they really did try. we have what fitness is $1 billion industry, right? From videos. I remember my mom doing abs of steel or buns of steel.
Yes.
And,
Jane Fonda.
And we had the beach body and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And that was great for a long time. I don't hear about it so much anymore.
Right. Well, I think people want that human connection.
They want the human connection.
Especially since the pandemic.
Absolutely.
And I think Peloton was so successful during the pandemic because you could compete against other people.
Totally. And then,
And you can't replace a human being who can walk around a classroom and say, okay, straighten your back,
Exactly. Exactly.
Try this, move your leg,
Absolutely.
whatever.
And you can't compete with, the girl next to you saying, hey, how's your sister? How's that new baby? Congratulations on graduation or things like that.
Right.
There is nothing will ever compete with that. No AI can ever do that. Yeah.
Right.
Totally.
Well, I think that you've definitely convinced me the importance of community.
Yes.
And, just having that bond with, co-working outers.
Yes,
group
it
fitness.
is. It is amazing. It is amazing to be a part of. It is amazing to lead. The ladies will tell me, and all of our instructors, like, you guys are so gifted and, this is so amazing. You're so good at what you do. And I always tell them, like, you guys, our members, don't realize how much we as instructors need them just as much.
Right.
Like I said, life transitions happen, and I knew every day that I had a group of women that I needed to show up for. They were counting on me,
Right.
Yeah.
but I also was counting on them to be there. And I think that's the most beautiful thing.
Yeah. Well, we're so excited.
It doesn't get better than that, right?
We're so excited you came here today and we got to speak with you.
Thank
and we will
you.
share all of your contact information
Amazing.
on our show notes.
Of course.
If anybody wants to talk to you privately or learn more about group fitness, whether it's in Lake Forest or anywhere else,
Awesome.
you could, I'm sure, give them a little bit of
Yeah.
advice. So we will put all that in our show notes.
Yeah, we welcome everyone. We love new people. And so if you want to come try a class, come to the Lake Forest Fitness Center.
Of course. And we thank you for tuning in with us on Help Nobody Told Me. And we'll have a new episode for you right here next Wednesday. See ya.